Hi, my name is Jojo and I live in Sweden's nature. And this is a review of the canvas camp Sibley 400 Protech. This video is sponsored by Canvas Camp and I got this tent for free. But this is already the third tent that I own from them. The first one I bought a couple of years ago with my own money, and the reasons that led me to that purchase are still the same today. And the reasons are the quality of the canvas, the quality of the manufacturing, like how the seams are made. Another reason is the zippable floor and all the accessories you can get for the tent. The shape of this tent is called a Sibley bell tent. It's derived from Henry Sibley, who patented this tent design with one center pole in the middle of the 19th century. And it has also aspects of a bell tent, like the raised sidewalls, which give it more space on the inside. But how easy is it to set up one of these tents? I'm here on a field to compare the 4 meter and the 5 meter variant of the tent. And since I don't want to set up everything by myself, I got some help from my family. My sister, her husband and their son. And they will set up the 4 meter variant first time in their life. I will set up the 5 meter variant, in which I have been living for 2 years. And then we will see who is faster. Everyone will get a hammer. I will take the small one in that case. And ready, set, go! The tent comes in this practical bag that's definitely big enough so you can even repack it after unpacking it for the first time. It comes with a bag of pegs or tent anchors. When you buy them, they are still new and clean. I have used them already. You have the bigger ones for the outer lines and the smaller ones for the floor. It also comes with a bag of spare parts. In there you find some extra fabric from the floor in case you get some holes over time. The same, some fabric of the cotton canvas. You have some additional ropes. This small thing that goes on the top of the entrance pole to keep the water out. And finally you have some of these things which are part of the tent poles. Speaking of tent poles, they are connected with springs inside, so there's only one way to put them together. On the center pole there is a top side which has this practical D-ring where you can hang stuff from. When you set up the tent, make sure to put the ropes on the side far enough out so that the side walls are straight. In that case we put the two tents too close together so we couldn't get the proper height in there. Kannst du mal da herhalten in die Kamera? Ein bisschen höher? Oh ja. Oh. Canvas Camp has this tent in varying sizes from 3 meter up to 8 meter in diameter. Some of them come with a 2-door entrance, but only the larger ones starting from 5 meters. There's even a 4-door version, but for the 4 meter ones you have only the option of a 1-door entrance, which is enough. It comes also in 2 colors. This sand color and also a green color. But how much space is inside one of these tents and which one could be right for you? I would say that this 4 meter variant is just big enough for 4 people with some luggage. Of course you can always cram in more people, but then it's really a bit tight. The biggest difference for me between the 4 meter and the 5 meter version is that in the 5 meter version you have enough space between the center pole and the outside for an adult to lay there in between without touching the sidewall. All of these tents you can get in 3 different variants, which are called Ultimate, Pro and Protech. This is the Protech version. The differences is basically the weight of the fabric and if a side mesh wall is included. Since I use my tents all year round and have them set up for longer periods of time, I chose the heavier fabric, which is a bit more sturdy against the weather and environment. I also have the Protech version with the mesh sidewall. However, I have never used them because up here in the north in Sweden where I'm living, it never is as hot in summer that I would need the airflow in between. I'm fine with the side ventilation and keeping the door open in summer, which also has a mesh. So for me, basically the Pro version would be good enough. But when you live more in the south, where you also want to have the tent as a shelter from the sun, you might want to have the mesh door, that you have some breeze going through it and no bugs coming in. You can also always set up the tent without the sidewalls and just have air going through, but then you might encounter some animals. Since the tent fabric is breathable, it's also possible to install a tent stove. You can either use a special exit for the pipe to go through the fabric, or just use one of the side ventilations. In that case, I had to cut through the mesh, which I was fine with, since there are 3 other ones that still have the mesh on. There are 3 ventilation openings on the top, and one detail that I really like, which they have added after some time, my first tent didn't have that, is these stoppers that let you tie up the door or the sidewalls without the need of making a knot. That's really practical. Regarding the waterproofness, I've never had any issues over the years with cotton canvas tents. If you have set them up correctly and the water can run down, there's no problem. Just make sure there's nothing inside the tent that touches the walls and you should be fine. I think this tent is a good fit for people who want to spend a comfortable time in nature, maybe in groups from 2 up to 4 people. And when you use it a lot, you will be really satisfied with the quality. And if you use it maybe only 1 or 2 times a year, you will be happy with how easy it is to set up. And if you take good care of it, if you always pack it that it's really, really dry, you can have it for many, many years. And finally, an advice to choose the right campground. I'm again at the field where we set up those 2 tents yesterday, and today it looks like this. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you can spend a lot of time out in nature.